Honor Up movie being sold for $100?
Well, I mean, I guess.
Yo, y'all niggas wild.
I'm actually, to be honest with you, Sin, I was told that they really made a 50-cent offer.
2 quarters?
Yeah, like 2 quarters. That was the original opening offer, and then somebody.
It's barely the beginning of 2026, and somehow the culture already feels like it's in mid-year chaos mode. What started as a casual pull-up turned into one of the most talked about sit-downs of the month when Dame Dash showed up on Camron. Platform Talk with Flea. At first it looked like regular Harlem energy to veterans in the same room. Stories, laughs, history, but the tone slowly shifted, and once it shifted, there was no going back. The spark came from a joke Kim referenced Dame 2018. Film Honor Up and repeated the narrative that it had been auctioned off for $100. During one of Dame's financial disputes in today's internet climate, a line like that does not stay in the room. Within minutes, clips were circulating, captions were forming, and timelines were choosing sides. To some it was comedy, to Dame it was disrespect mixed with misinformation. Dame did not take the comment lightly. He immediately pushed back, making it clear that he never sold the film and still controls the intellectual property. He claimed the auction story was being twisted, and that while certain assets may have been involved in legal battles, the ownership of Honor Up was not what people were making it seem. According to Dame, the bigger issue was not the joke but the damage in an era where perception moves faster than paperwork. A viral clip can impact negotiations, partnerships, and brand leverage overnight. It is when things escalated from playful to personal. Dame accused Kim of leaning into viral moments for attention, suggesting that headlines matter more than facts in 2026 media. He implied that Kim understands exactly how to trigger conversation, and that sometimes the strategy is to say something outrageous enough that it travels. In the middle of that exchange, another name entered the room, 50 Cent. Dame hinted that Kim energy felt performative, almost like he was trying to entertain 50 or align with narratives that 50 often amplifies online.
Graciously upped it to $100. That was the original opening offer, and then somebody graciously upped it to $100.
Sin is asking the question about the movie Honor Up that Damon Dash starred in, I starred in, Murder Mook, Daniel, Stacey Dash, few other people, and Kanye executive produced it. There was a recent auction to where they were auctioning off some of his stuff, the federal government and some other people. It was one offer for 50 cents. And somebody said, come on, man, I'll buy for $100.50.
Right.
They said, sold.
That's a whole movie. I'm confused.
I get what you're saying. You're saying, logically, even if it's the worst movie in the world, I don't care what it is. It could be just a nigga taking a shit. Because of the names attached to this movie, it should sell for way more than $100.50. That's what you're saying, Sin. But it did. Now what?
Now, anyone who understands the history of Harlem hip-hop knows this is layered. Dame and Kim are not random internet personalities. Their stories trace back to an era defined by dominant style and business ambition. Dame, as co-founder of Rock-A Fella, built an empire that changed how artists approached ownership. Kim, a Dipset frontman, turned Harlem swagger into a global aesthetic. Their paths have crossed publicly and privately for decades, so when tension resurfaces, it carries weight. Conversation then drifted into older wounds. Dame referenced an alleged incident from years ago where Kim was involved in a physical altercation and did not respond in the way street codes would traditionally expect. It was not just about a punch. It was about pride, image, and how narratives stick. Kim brushed off the implication, but the mention alone added fuel. In hip-hop history, reputation is currency, and any suggestion of weakness can echo for years. As the episode continued, the audience realized this was no longer just banter. Dame mentioned legal steps. He talked about cease and desist letters. He suggested that people were negotiating around his intellectual property without authority. When paperwork enters the chat, the tone changes. This was not about views anymore. It was about control. Part of what makes this situation so compelling is how it reflects the evolution of media itself. Back in the early 2000s, conflicts unfolded through mixtapes, interviews, and magazine covers. Today, a single clip can trend worldwide in minutes. Can openly acknowledge that virality is part of the modern ecosystem. Something generates conversation, it generates revenue. If it generates revenue, it becomes strategy. That honesty resonated with some viewers who argued that everyone in media understands the game, but Dame comes from a different philosophy. For him, ownership has always been sacred. From fashion to film to music, he has preached control and equity, so hearing his work reduced to a $100 meme hit differently in his mind. It undermines the larger narrative of independence he has spent years defending. The internet, of course, did what the internet always does. Memes appeared, threads dissected court documents, old interviews resurfaced, clips from Paid in Full began trending again. As fans revisited the cultural impact of Harlem Golden Era, some argued that this entire situation proves legends should avoid public feuds. Others said this is exactly why the culture remains alive, because transparency, even messy transparency, keeps things relevant. Is also a generational angle. Younger audiences consume conflict as content. They see tension as episodic entertainment. For older fans, these names represent legacy and impact. Watching them clash feels different than watching influencers argue. There is history attached. There are decades of stories, business deals, and shared rooms behind every sentence. Another layer to consider is the business climate of 2026. Intellectual property is more valuable than ever. Streaming platforms, independent distribution, and social monetization have shifted power structures. If there's even a rumor that an asset changed hands for a symbolic amount, it can influence leverage in future negotiations. Dame urgency makes more sense in that context. He is not just defending pride, he is protecting perceived value. Cam, on the other hand, appears comfortable riding the wave. He understands that controversy keeps platforms buzzing. His brand has always included humor, sharp commentary, and a willingness to say what others hesitate to. To him, the moment may simply be part of the showbit. When two powerful personalities collide, the ripple effect extends beyond them. Younger artists watching this may interpret it as a lesson on how quickly alliances can shift. Entrepreneurs may see it as a reminder to guard narratives as carefully as contracts. Fans may just see entertainment. The truth probably sits somewhere in between. One thing is certain, this is not resolved. When legal language enters a public conversation, it rarely disappears quietly, whether through clarification, documentation, or another sit-down. The story will continue evolving. And because both men understand media cycles, there is always the possibility that the next move is calculate. What makes this especially fascinating is how it mirrors the larger question facing hip-hop veterans today. How do pioneers adapt to a world where attention moves at algorithm speed? How do you protect legacy while navigating platforms built on shock value? And how do you balance authenticity with strategy when every word can be clipped and replayed out of context? As 2026 unfolds, this clash may become a case study in modern reputation management. It highlights the tension between ownership and optics, between history and headline. For now, Harlem is watching. The culture is debating, and both Dame Dash and Camron have once again proven that even decades into their careers, they still know how to command the spotlight. The year just started. If this is the opening chapter, the rest of 2026 might be louder than anyone expected.